McConnell. I'm an assistant professor of upland birds in the Department of Wildlife, Fisheries, and Aquaculture at Mississippi State University. I'm from North Louisiana. Grew up working on a farm, so I had an interest in farming and was an outdoorsman, hunter and fisher, angler, and wanted to find a way to integrate those two things. So went to LSU, got a degree in wildlife and fishery science, and then got obsessed with a species called bobwhite quail, a small game bird native to the U.S. And so got my master's and my PhD in wildlife and fishery science from Mississippi State University. And since then, I've been doing research on grassland birds, bobwhite quail, and other ways to integrate wildlife management into working landscapes like row crop production, forage production, and timber production. Started at Mississippi State in January of 2019, so I've been here just over 2.5 years. In the Wildlife, Fisheries, and Aquaculture Department, we do research and teaching and extension on a variety of topics based off natural resources, everything from aquaculture production to applied wildlife management for a myriad of species, both game and non-game, fisheries, research and science. The real goal of this department is to make sure that the research we're conducting has an application on the landscape. My dean's in here, so I really can't answer that question. The faculty in this department is really what makes it fun to work here. It's a really real family-friendly environment and a lot of collaboration with the faculty, which is not the case at every university. So that's definitely the reason I came back. I've got a bunch of projects, everything from working with radio marked bobwhite quail populations to Bachman sparrows to precision agriculture, turkey population dynamics and harvest frameworks. The idea was actually Dr. Berger's. He hired me as his graduate student to do my master's work. So my master's work was originally on developing this software, and then he and I together and through a number of students over the last decade have expanded it, taken it to a whole new different direction. And the idea is to give farmers, agricultural producers, the ability to make an informed economic decision and highlight and illustrate to them the economic opportunities of conservation programs offered through the USDA Farm Bill.
So every farmer knows that there's portions of their fields that produce abundantly, and there's portions of their fields that are weaker and don't produce as much crop. And that translates to differences in profitability. So in this picture, in this graph, the green portions of the field are highly productive and highly profitable. The red portions of the field are less productive and less profitable. In fact, they're losing money to crop those areas. And so our software does two important things. It first identifies the variability in yield and profitability across the field, shows them those strong and those weak spots. And then the second thing it does is it shows them, if you were to take select portions of this field that are low profitability and enroll those in a conservation program that had an economic incentive with it, here's the difference you would have in your profitability. And so all those red areas we turn to bright green simply by taking them out of production and enrolling them in a incentivized conservation practice through the Farm Bill.
What drives me to do research is to be able to have an impact on the landscape and offer solutions that work for landowners and work for wildlife. And all of my research programs and projects are centered around that goal. Precision conservation decision support tools by far probably the most impactful thing I've ever been involved in. The goal of this technology, like I said, was to give farmers a chance to implement profitable conservation and make profitable conservation decisions. So it actually applies to anywhere in the country. Anybody who's farming in the United States can use it, and the goal is if they can make more money off conservation, hopefully it leads them to create more conservation opportunities, and then there's benefits to society from that: clean air, clean water, healthy wildlife populations, and more resilient agricultural landscapes. Yeah, so if I were sitting down with the agricultural producer or farmer and wanted to explain the software to them, I would hopefully do it with them at their kitchen table, hopefully looking at their farm. And we drive around, we'd look at parts of their field that they think maybe the field is not producing as good as other parts. And this technology allows the farmer to take information he or she is collecting on their tractor, on their combines, and put it in a software program that illustrates where they have the opportunities to make more money by taking land out of agricultural production and putting it in, enrolling it in a conservation practice. So the software essentially gives them the ability to see where they can make more money through conservation in place of farming. The code for building this software was something that Dr. Berger thought I could do when he hired me. I couldn't do. So we had to contract it out, so I'm finding someone who could understand the agricultural opportunities that the Farm Bill outlaid and put them into a code that would allow the software to work. The other part has been getting it on the market. That's something that wildlife biologists like myself aren't trained to do. So that has been somewhat challenging. The last land grant wildlife programs that focuses on doing applied wildlife research. The goal of our research in this department, whether it's fisheries, aquaculture, or wildlife, is to make sure it leads to decisions on the ground that can be applied by state, federal organizations, or private.